Hi there, welcome to this week's show for the night sky this week for March 15th, 2001. I hope you had a great weekend. This week, we're going to be talking about all kinds of exciting things, from looking at an asteroid, for the moon going through Taurus, the Bull constellation, Mars, star clusters, and galaxies as well. So there's lots of really interesting things this week. Let me turn to the chat room. It's open. I'm seeing all your comments. I'd like to welcome Kuben. Hello. Gunilla from Sweden. We've got Kuben from Durban, South Africa. Great of you to join us. Kevin, thank you so much for joining us from Maryland. We've got Newt from Missouri. Mary Tin from Golden, Colorado. Of course, Christelle from Marseille. Bonjour. Christos from Greece. Diego from Fresno, my old haunt in California where I used to live. So nice of all of you to join me. That's fantastic. I hope you did you get to do any stargazing this weekend? Here in Montreal, we had some clear skies, cold, but really nice clear skies, and was able to go out and see some of my favorite winter constellations. Have you seen Orion, the Hunter? Fantastic constellation. And of course, we were talking about last week, the Big Dipper. We'll be talking more about that today as well. So wherever you're joining me, thank you, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or on Twitch. So why don't we dig into the night sky right off the bat? Here we have the sky as it appears tonight on Monday, March 15th. This is just after sunset. If we look after just after sunset, we'll see on Monday the 15th the very thin crescent moon pinning down the western sky. This is a beautiful sight because you'll get to see the moon also producing what's called earthshine. And earthshine is really thanks to sunlight bouncing off the oceans and cloud tops of Earth and lighting up the darker, unlit portion of the moon's disk. And so you'll get a really nice view of earthshine, this effect, on the moon, the disk of the moon. Tonight, Monday, and also Tuesday as well will be a great time because it's just so thin, the crescent. You can see here, I'm going to zoom in. Right about this is what the moon will appear like. So it's a really nice, beautiful view that you guys will get if you've got clear skies tonight for Monday this week. Now, right off, I wanted to start with something very different from what I usually do. Is talking about, really bright naked eye constellations and such. But I wanted to talk about the asteroid belt, and particularly one member of it, which is called Vesta. It's one of the largest asteroids that are visible to us in our skies here on Earth, and it is an easier target than most of the time tonight. So if you're actually looking this week, anytime this week that you've got clear skies, the asteroid Vesta is in the constellation Leo. Leo the lion is rising in the east after darkness falls, wherever you are. And Vesta, the fourth largest asteroid, is located in the hind section, in the back end of Leo the lion, his rump area. And you can find Vesta is pretty bright. I mean, Vesta is right now shining at about 6th magnitude. So what does that mean? That means that it's not visible to the naked eye, even from the darkest side, but an easy target with binoculars. So what I want you to do is try to see if you can find Vesta with a pair of binoculars. And of course, if you have a telescope, it's a very easy object to find. And what you're going to use as a guidepost are these three stars here that you have in the back end of the line. Now you have Denebola, which is going to be very bright. That's down here. You'll see it right there, Denebola. That marks the tail, and it kind of makes a triangle with two other stars. This one over here called Chertan, and Zosma. Zosma and Chertan are two bright stars that mark the rump of the lion, and then the tail of the lion is Denebola. But that's the brightest one. And if you find this triangular formation with Zosma and Chertan, you'll be able to find where Vesta is. And Vesta is going to be right in between, just off center of these two bright stars. These are naked eye stars. Remember, Zosma and Chertan are faint, but very evident to the naked eye. Even from light polluted city areas, you can see this two stars in the back end of the lion. But that's where Vesta is. And you won't see it move very easily. You have to kind of go back from night to night. So this is now set for Monday. But if I set this off to, say, skip to Tuesday, let me just put this into center. There we go. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Look at that. See? By the end of the week, by Monday next week, Tuesday, look at that. You see that Vesta is moving, but you're going to need to look at it over a course of a few nights to see it move in relation to Chertan and Zosma. Okay? So your starting point is looking for, let me put this back to today and put it in just a few hours from now. There we go. There it is. So after darkness falls, you'll see Leo in the east, and that's where you'll start your trip looking at, of course, Regulus, which is the bottom, the brightest star and the bottom of a backwards question mark that marks the head of the lion. And then you'll see the trio of stars that mark the back end of the line with its tail marked by Denebola. I will have a star chart for this on my timeline on Facebook and also on Instagram, so you guys can actually use this yourself and kind of use that as a guidepost. But it's really easy. Leo the lion actually looks like, it's one of those few constellations that actually looks like what it's supposed to in terms of a constellation. You can mark out the shape of the lion's head because of this backwards question mark here that you see here. It's very, very easy to find. See, I'm marking it out with my cursor here. That is this giant backwards question mark that marks the head and the mane of the lion, and the heart of the lion is marked by Regulus, and then the back end of the lion is marked by these three other stars. And Vesta is right in the middle of those two stars. If I mark out Vesta again for you, there you go. So that's Vesta. And Vesta, like I said, is a bright object. It's one of the brightest in this night sky. It's the third largest asteroid in the main belt. It was discovered back in the early 1800s, in 1807 exactly. And it's named after the Roman goddess of hearth, home, and family. And it comprises about almost 10% of the mass of the asteroid belt. So it's a pretty big asteroid. And it's located 204 million kilometers away. So it takes 11 minutes, over 11 minutes for the light from Vesta to reach your eye. And what does it look like? We've sent a spacecraft, Dawn spacecraft, close to Vesta. This is what it appears. It looks very much like a miniature moon, pockmarked with lots of craters. And it's highly reflective. So it's bright. When the sunshine hits the surface, it's pretty reflective, and that's why it's glowing at magnitude 6 in the sky, which means it's very bright for binoculars to see it. So check that out, Vesta. And that's anytime this week or next week would be great. You'll see it in the back end of Leo, and it takes just a few days to catch that movement of the asteroid. Now, if we move on to another really great spot for just looking at what we call deep sky treasures. These are objects that are beyond the solar system. Things like clusters, nebula, and galaxies are what we call deep sky objects. And the Big Dipper, the back end of the Great Bear, Ursa Major constellation, is a wonderful area to search for galaxies. Again, this is something maybe with binoculars or a small backyard telescope. These are really wonderful targets for you to look at. Let me turn to the chat room for a second just to say hi to everybody. Lorraine, you're welcome. I'm glad you're thinking that the information is good. Zoe's saying thank you for your cool show. Very nice. Mary Tim is asking, is Leo near the Big Dipper? Well, yes, it is. It's just on top of it. As you can see in this image, you can see that Leo is just below right of Ursa Major right now at this time of the year and the early evening time. And she says, I see it now. There you go. There you go. So lots of really cool things. Bob, also from South Carolina. Hi. Adriana, hello from Italy. Great. I'm so happy you can join me. And Kevin says he's finally received his telescope, waiting to use it tonight. While I'm hoping that you have some ideas, I'm giving you some ideas of what you can use your new telescope for. There's tons of amazing things. Louise watching from Winnipeg. I think from Sweden, Gunilla saying no clear skies for 1 week already. I know what you mean. You just got to wait it out, but there's lots to really interesting things. We have hello from Minsk. Very nice. So nice. Thank Tina. Welcome. So nice of you to join us as well. And we've got from the UK, Kelly. Nice of you to join. It's so many more. I'm watching all of you guys here. Fantastic. Hello, Andrew. Thanks for the great information. You're welcome, Lorraine. Very, very nice. So he says, cool show. Hello from Trinidad. Sean, nice of you to join us. You must have some really nice guys there too. So why don't we dig into the Big Dipper now and we look at some of these deep sky treasures that I'm talking about. So when we look at the Big Dipper, there is a really interesting galaxy. It's called M51 or the Whirlpool Galaxy, and it's located on just off the handle of the Big Dipper. This is one of my favorite galaxies to look at. It's what we call a face-on spiral galaxy. And let me show you where it exactly. So here we've got the Big Dipper on its side in early evening or mid-evening this time of the year. And if we zoom in, you'll see a little bit that you'll see more details. And then immediately you see just off the last star in the handle of the Big Dipper, right? These are the 3 stars of the handle of the Big Dipper, and just off to the right is M51. Now, M51 is this wonderful galaxy. It's 28 million kilometers away, and this is what it looks like to a telescope with an exposure photography, a long exposure photography. Just one of the most magnificent objects in the night sky. It's bright enough to see with through a small backyard telescope. It looks like a hint of light through binoculars. It's only 7.9 magnitude, so it's well within the binoculars. It looks like a faint smudge through binoculars, but it is an absolutely beautiful galaxy. See, if we zoom in, you can see it. There you go. And it's got a companion right there that just happens to be beside it. And there's this, what looks like a bridge. This is kind of overlaid on top of it. It's not actually physically connected. But you can see the Whirlpool Galaxy, a spiral galaxy similar to the Milky Way, would look if you could look at it from above the plane of the Milky Way from far in the distance. And at 28 million light years away, we can make out these beautiful concentric spiral arms that wrap around the nucleus, the core of of what looks like a Milky Way type of galaxy. It's a spiral galaxy. We call it a face-on because for us as observers from the Milky Way looking out into the universe, we see it face on the spiral. And it's a beautiful sight, 28 million light years away. Check that out. That's just off the handle of the Big Dipper. Now, on the other side of the last star of that's not all, folks. There's more. On the other side is another galaxy, a spiral galaxy called M101. Now, M101, again, we're talking about M. What's M? M51, M101. This is the Messier catalog done by French astronomer Charles Messier back in the 1700s. He collated a beautiful collection of of over 110 objects that were beyond the solar system. He was a comet hunter, and he came across these wonderful objects that he marked down that he didn't want others to be led astray, that they're not comets. They look like faint fuzzy patches through binoculars and telescopes, but they're wonderful deep sky treasures. And so this is another face-on spiral. Look at this one, M101. M101 is 23 million light years away. Another absolutely beautiful spiral galaxy. Check that out. Isn't that gorgeous? And here's another photograph from a backyard astronomer. Look at the beauty of M101. Look at those spiral arms. Now, what you're looking at, these spiral arms that I have my cursor going through, you see they're all kind of wrapped around what we call the nucleus, the downtown core of this spiral galaxy. And if you look carefully on this image, you see some pink and purpley kind of knots. They look like little clouds. These are actually gas clouds and star clouds all bunched up together, and these are what form the arms of this galaxy. Just absolutely beautiful. There's millions and millions of stars that are, the combined light is what you're seeing. They're so far away at 23 million kilometers away, we can't see the individual stars of M101. Those points of light that you see in the on this picture are all stars that are in the foreground. They're all within the Milky Way. So they're in the front, kind of cluttering our view a bit, but we cannot see the individual stars of M101 spiral galaxy, but we see the combined light of everything that's in 101. And remember, where are we looking at? M101 is a galaxy just off the last star of the handle of the Big Dipper. There's the Big Dipper right above the horizon in the northeast. And this is M101. It glows at around 7.7 magnitude, which puts it in a really great spot for binocular views as a faint fuzzy patch. And of course, with backyard telescopes, you can start resolving under very good skies a little bit hints of the spiral arms. And of course, if you take photographs, you can get them very, very clearly. So great stuff there for the Big Dipper. With the moon out of the way of the sky, this is a great time to actually go and look. Anytime in the springtime is the best time to go and search for galaxies around the Big Dipper, and we'll continue that next week with more around the Big Dipper. If we turn our attention to the morning, on Wednesday morning at dawn, there is, if we look towards the east, this is what will greet you on Wednesday morning. And any other time as well, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But let's say Wednesday morning you would go out, or Thursday or Friday. This is great this week, at the later part of this week. And into next week, it gets even better. The three planets, Mercury, Jupiter, and Saturn, are pinning down the early morning skies at dawn. So if you're an early morning riser, check this out. These three planets are really beautifully visible with the naked eye. The most challenging, of course, might be Mercury or Saturn. With the glow of the sunrise, the trick here is to go out about an hour to 45 minutes before your local sunrise. Looking again towards the east, you got to get a clear line of view towards the southeast, eastern sky to catch these three star-like objects. They'll look like stars to the naked eye. Binoculars will definitely help your view and tracking these three planets down in your morning skies. So again, that's anytime later in the half of this week, anytime you get clear skies, and into next week as well. And if we kind of move this forward over many days, you'll see that Jupiter and Saturn are climbing up and separating away from Mercury. So by next week, Mercury will be kind of on its lonesome, a little bit more challenging to find. Binoculars will help. But Saturn and Jupiter will start dominating the early morning skies more and more, and earlier too, before in the morning twilight and in the pre-dawn hours as well. They'll become much, much more dominant. Saturn and Jupiter will. Now, if we turn our attention to the evening, and we move on to Thursday evening. The skies, if we can just get it darker here. There we go. And we move towards the southwest, western sky. We see our friend the moon. So on Thursday, the moon is going to be pairing up with one of my favorite deep sky objects, and that's the Pleiades star cluster, also known as the Seven Sisters, or M40, Messier 45, right? The 45th object on Charles Messier's list. Beautiful target. Definitely you want to try to see this. You can see there's let me try to get these names off here for a second so we can see them more clearly. There we go. And it's going to be right beside the moon. You can see the crescent moon and Pleiades very close to it. It's a wonderful sight, great astrophotography opportunity Thursday night this week. Now, if we move the sky into Friday night, by Friday night, the moon is going to pair up with our friend Mars, planet Mars, in the head of Taurus the bull. Right there, you can see. Right at the base of the horns of the bull is where the moon will be wedged in, and next door will be planet Mars. And underneath the pair will be another orange, a lighter orange star, different color than Mars. That's my friend Aldebaran at 66 light years away. It's an orange giant star and marks the orange eye of Taurus the bull. And these three star-like objects will be, I should say, two star-like objects and the moon will just be dominating that sky. So these three objects you can't miss. Again, Friday night is when the moon will be by the planet Mars. Just a beautiful pairing, especially with Aldebaran underneath it as well. It just makes for a great, great sight. I'll have, again, sky charts for all of this on my Facebook and Instagram timeline. So make sure you check that out. And if we move on to another night by the weekend, look where the moon is. The moon is now positioned in the horns of Taurus the bull. So you've got the two stars that mark the tips of the horns of Taurus the bull, and you've got the near quarter moon just wedged in there very nicely between the horns of the bull. And if you draw an imaginary line, look at this, again, this is Friday night, draw an imaginary line, I should say, sorry, Saturday night is when we're talking about, Saturday night, you draw an imaginary line between the two stars at the end of the horns of the bull with the moon, and you reach Betelgeuse, that super bright orange star. It'll be a nice lineup between those objects. So easy to see. So there you go, guys. Lots of really cool things for you to see. I hope you enjoy that. Get out. Next clear sky, you want to see the Vesta asteroid. You want to make sure you see the moon pair up with Mars and the Pleiades. Try out those galaxies. If you've got binoculars, you've got a really good chance. They're bright enough to see as a faint patch. I will have sky charts for all of this on my timelines. And of course, if you're new here and you haven't yet subscribed, what are you waiting for? Please subscribe. Show your support for my videos by subscribing to my channels and also giving it a big thumbs up. I'd really appreciate that. So until the next video, I wish all of you guys clear skies. Bye-bye.